A very warm welcome to the show Suddenly Single. Suddenly Single is a show that is here to encourage someone outside there, that person who is feeling low, that person who is feeling like life has come to an end. I'm here to encourage you and even to pray with you and to let you know that that is just the beginning. God has something better for you outside here. All you have to do is to trust in Him and believe in Him and know who He is, and He's there to help you. Today with me is a guest. I'm so excited because she managed to come, and I'm so excited that she's going to tell you her story, that story that will touch your life. You never know how many people you can change when you tell out your story. Kindly, our guest, introduce yourself.
Thank you for bringing me to your show.
Wow, my name's Christine Joy, and I'm born again. I'm from a family of 7 people. I have 7 siblings, 5 girls and 2 boys. And I was born in a place called Zimmerman in Nairobi, and I love what happened because I want to share it. I'm not ashamed this afternoon. Thank you so much. God bless you, man of God.
That's right, that's right. You've just heard what she said, that she's not ashamed to share what happened in her life. You know, sometimes things happen in our lives, and the fear of being judged makes us not to tell out our story, because, you know, with the social media thing here nowadays, you know, some people tend to think that when we tell out our stories, you know, people will judge us. But look, she's right now here with us, and she's going to tell out her story just to touch someone's life outside there. Now, Christine, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Just tell us what happened. I mean,
Yeah, my story is like this, and I believe that it's going to bless somebody. I believe that this story is a powerful story because, you know, as believers, sometimes when you are born again, we are in a comfort place. Or sometimes, you know, you are in church and you don't understand basically about the operations of the powers of darkness. But I am one victim. I can say that I'm a victim, but now I'm not a victim, I'm a victor. Why I say this is because when there's a time that I was in my family, and we picked a quarrel with my mom that I love her so much. She's born again now.
oh yeah.
By the
that's right.
grace of God, she's my pillar,
Wow.
my supporter. Number one, a prayerful woman. There is power in prayer. And just to touch on my grandmother too. She's this old woman. She's around 100 years. And
Wow.
I thank God because of the foundation that she laid.
Wow.
And you know, sometimes when you have people that know God, you cannot be destroyed. Satan cannot destroy what already God has already has already put his hand, and what already God has blessed and sanctified. And so even as the Bible says, you know, in Jeremiah, I'm a Jeremiah that says that I knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. So even when I was going astray, the devil could do nothing because already God knew my destiny. And so I have this story about how my mom, we picked a quarrel. And I remember vividly one evening when she came from her place of work. She was a businesswoman. And I just blessed God because I was surrounded by men of God. You know, we were somewhere in Roysambu, and there is this Bible school. And you know, men of God would come there from Bible school, and they would live, you know, they would come and they would ask, I had a favor, such an attraction with the men of God. So I didn't know that in a place, at a point, I'm going to be born again. But I thank God because already they were declaring things over my life. And so when my mother, now, we picked a quarrel, it was just between, you know, sometimes it's good to know your neighbor. And you know, we had this neighbor that was practicing witchcraft. And you see now, when my mom came and I was this responsible girl, you know, my mom then, she used to be very busy. She didn't have time for her children, but she was just a good, sweet mommy. But now, because of, you know, in Africa, we have to go and see things. It's not easy. So she could wake up very early in the morning, like from 3 p.m. and, you know, look for what we can have. And so I remember this day, my mom, by the grace of God, it was like a miracle. She went to church, in a Catholic church, around the Safari Park, and that time she was early at home, and she came and she was someone, you know, our neighbor back on her and called her, and, you know, because she had this bad, you know, destructive spirit to destroy and to
The
break.
neighbor?
Yes, our neighbor.
Okay.
Yeah. So she came and she said, by then I was a teenage, and you know, I was like, you understand about teenage life.
Yeah, that's
That
right.
is when you are growing, you are discovering yourself. You feel like you want to go partying and you want to go out. And also, I was this ambitious woman. I wanted to become a great business, prosperous woman. And so she had a hair salon. And so
The neighbor had a
yes, she had
hair
a salon.
Okay.
So we go there, and you know, in Kenya, I don't know whether, you know, most salons, it was a place of gossip.
All right. That's
So
right.
yes, so she came, and when she spotted my mom that Sunday evening, she called her, and you know, out of you know, this attitude, I said, I hope you're not gossiping me. I hope if you are trying to gossip me positively. And it's like the woman picked an issue.
Or the neighbor picked an issue
Yes,
with you?
yes.
Okay.
When she picked an issue, it's like she had charm, and that brought confusion, because when I addressed her, you know, in society we had been raised that a child did not belong only to one woman, one mother. So I grew knowing that a mother is a woman, a neighbor is a mother too. So, you know, with my own understanding, I thought I was doing the honorable thing. You know, I addressed her as Mama so and so, but she picked a call. She said I would have addressed and called her with her name.
Okay.
So that
she
is where
helped you. Then by the time she was picking up quarrel with you, she didn't want you to call her using Mama so and so. She wanted you to call her using her name.
Yeah, her own
Okay.
name, and I felt uncomfortable
Okay.
because of how we were raised with morals. I felt it's not
The
you
right
know,
thing
the
to
right
do.
thing to do, the honorable thing to do. So my mom, she did not see like there was an issue. She just picked a quarrel. She took a knife. She wanted to stab me, and then all of a sudden also I felt like
Who wanted to stab you? Your mom?
my mom.
Okay.
And after the woman had lit fire, you know, she was like a woman that came with fuel, with petrol. And then after she had lit fire, she left, and now it was between me and my mom. And there was nobody in our house. It was me, just me and mom and my other grandmother, my
Okay.
dad's grandmother.
Okay.
And so she was elderly, she was old, but by the grace of God, I was able to sneak
Okay.
with anger.
All right.
And that is
To
my
disappear.
turning point of how my life took a different turn. And I went to another life, and I met a lady who was an agent of darkness. And she initiated me into the world of darkness,
Wow.
and it was not a good life.
So where did you meet this? Where did you meet this lady who initiated you to the world of darkness? Where did you meet her?
I met her in a bus stop.
A bus stop?
Yeah, and you know, when I met her in a bus stop, there's a sweet tongue she used, a seductive tongue. You know, my ears, they were said, there's this thing that they wanted to hear. After leaving my home, I was expecting maybe I would look for green pasture, a job. And she was very smart, organized, because when she met me, when we introduced each other and we got to know each other, she told me that she was going to see the former president, Moi Kibaki. And I said, wow,
That
that's
you were going to
it.
see
My
the
life has
former-
gotten a turnaround.
So
I was so excited.
you wanted to go with her to see the former president?
By then he was the Minister of Finance.
Or Kibaki was the Minister of Finance?
Yeah, having come from the same area,
Uh-huh.
you know, he was from Udaya, and the lady was from those sides of Udaya, from Baricho.
All right.
And you know, I was so convinced
That
that
it's
this
true.
this is a miracle. I was convinced that this is God, is a setup, and I felt like, you know, the way many people feel, like everything works for good for them that love the Lord. That is what I understood now when I got born again. But when I met her, I was like, God, you know, you mean this is what you had planned for me, a good plan, not for evil. I have met this woman now. You want to introduce me to the people in the corridor of power? You mean I will meet these influential people in our nation? You know, I was looking at, I was very excited that now I'll meet this this member of parliament. I mean, this financial, this person, this...
So did you go? Did you go with her that day?
Well, we went, but because now, you know, the enemy is always, he'll always use deception. And you know, I was very young. I did not even know town very well, though I was born in Nairobi.
By that time, how old were you then?
I was had just completed school,
Okay.
and then I was like looking for something what I can do.
Okay.
So when she came and she touched that we should go to that place, that office, I said I saw a bright future. I saw a turnaround.
But did you go when she told you that? Did you go?
Yes, we went, and I remember we went and we queued in a certain reception, and she was the one that entered. So I didn't know whether she saw him or she didn't, but you know, I was so innocent. I just believed that now she has seen him, and they have discussed, and I didn't know that she was just an agent that was sent on my way to come and ruin my destiny and to come and take me to the wrong direction, because the devil knew that I have something. I have a gift of God, and you know, sometimes the devil will manipulate.
Okay. So how did it start? When did you realize that she's an agent of the devil? What was she doing that made you to realize that things were not all right by then?
Yeah. There's something strange I would discover. Like she had gotten some things. You know, when you go to consult a witch doctor, like I did later. You know, there are things that witch doctors give you. Witch doctors, they believe in material things, as in, you know, this cross that we wear.
A cross?
A cross.
A necklace?
Like a necklace.
Oh.
Yeah, that was dedicated to demonic powers. And you know, there's something strange I would see her do. She would talk to the cross, she would bend and she would speak something, whisper, and I was really observing her. And every time she bent and spoke to the cross, something strange would happen.
Something like what?
You know, she didn't want to allow me to know that she was doing prostitution. She was in the prostitution.
So by this time, were you staying with her or you were still staying with your mom?
No, when I left home after the incident, I went and found another lady, a friend of mine, and we started now putting up together. But later on, I was able to rent my own single room, and we were just neighbors. And you know, this lady, she was so cunning, because when I met her the first time, she did not want to introduce and to allow me to know her nationality. She told me that she's from Western Africa, and she would try to fake some language, like she's speaking like, you know, a language that I would not understand. And she really manipulated me, because I remember there's a time she told me that she doesn't know how to cook Kenyan food.
Whoa.
So I went and did ugali.
At the end of the day, was she a Kenyan lady?
She was a Kenyan lady.
Wow.
But now, depending on how she was, you know, when she went to the witch, I think the powers that she was using, I think there is an advice that she could appear, you know, she could masquerade like a woman from a different nationality, so that she can be able to win men. Because Kenyan men, they love women from outside. By then, they used to attract ladies from other nationalities. Yeah.
So what was she doing? I mean, when you say that she was practicing witchcraft and using other powers, you know, that you didn't understand, what were you doing with her? How?
Yeah,
what was it all about?
It was, I didn't, you know, it's like I was being introduced, but also it's like the moment, you know, in the dark world, sometimes, you know, like I normally equal this, my story with the wise men, you know, the stars. You know how they send the wise men, and they discover the birth of Jesus. So the devil sometimes has a way, you know, to discover people that have potential and are great. So it's like the devil knew that I'm a carrier of favor, of power, that I'm going to be a vessel of God. And so the devil wanted, the quicker he can handle and deal with me and mess me up and destroy me. Because his assignment, he knows his assignment is in John 10:10, is to steal, kill, and destroy. And so he had sent this lady to come for me, to steal me, to destroy me, and to kill me. But by the grace of God, God somehow reached out to me.
So what did you used to do with this lady now that you are her friend and you are neighbors, you know, doing things together? How did you used to do it? Did she manage to initiate you in the act?
Yeah, let me now go back to the question that you asked me. How did I discover that she has something strange.
Yes.
Yeah, because she did not want me to know, because she was using, you know, the way she was using my favor. You know, there's power in a name. I remember before we had this, our system in government, people would threaten people and say, "Do you know who child I am? I'm a child of the president." And you see now, now the devil, knowing that there's something that I had, he didn't want me to, you know, he didn't want me. It's like they had already agreed with wherever she was consulting, that use what she has, so that you can benefit from it. And so I would go to places, and I would see men that were seducing her. And any time we entered somewhere, I saw there was an abnormality, because we were not looking alike, but there was something that would just say, like, I don't know how to explain it, but even before we introduce ourselves, it's like a magnet would open the mouth of men, and they would say, "Hey, you're sisters, you look alike." It dawned on me, and like, I'm light, I'm short, she's dark, she's tall.
So
and
how are you looking alike, you know, with all these features, you know?
Yeah, I discovered that there must be something, there must be a power, a force, a demonic one, a satanic one, that would make people to see the way she was seeing, the way, I mean, that would make men to see us the way they were seeing us. And she didn't tell me, and we continued like that until one time I discovered this is not really normal, and I shared with another lady, because now it's like already she had initiated me in I mean, I had already been influenced by her, and also now she told me that in this world you don't just sit like a fool, you also need to sell yourself, so, and you need also to look for men that
so
can...
By when she initiated you, you are now doing the same thing. Were you also selling yourself?
Yes.
Were
Yeah.
you now into like,
Yeah.
but prostitution or something?
Yes, and it was a secret, because I was not brought up in a poor family. You know, sometimes people, they don't understand that they are spirits.
Yes.
So when this woman came, she brought a demonic, a strange spirit. And you see, spirits, they don't understand whether you have come from a background where you are from rich family, or where you have a name, or it doesn't, spirits, it doesn't care where you come from, it's a spirit. And so when she came for me, I saw like, hey, you know, those men, and they were big, you know, they were looking blessed tycoons. I remember one time, many times, not one, several times, you could just leave the house, you tell me, don't worry, if you have nothing in the pocket, those men outside there, they will cater for everything, and you will eat, and you will go any place that you want to be.
So
don't be afraid.
Where did you used to go? Where did you get this men? I mean,
yeah, we used to go to
which
clubs.
places?
To clubs. Sometimes you don't necessarily need to go to clubs because of the power that she was carrying. The power, I don't know, the kind of concoction. I think it's love concoction. Because later on, I also went for mine. I would walk with her, and I would see strange things, like cars would stop. They would ask us, where are we going?
Here in Nairobi?
Anywhere in any part. I remember one day we went to Uganda, and a Kenyan lady came. She was carrying money. She came for business, and we had already booked a hotel. She said, "Don't worry." She had a power. The power that she had, she could also even convince and manipulate even women.
Wow.
And I remember vividly that woman, when she came, she had come to purchase items, and because the currency of Uganda is weaker than Kenyan, so you know Ugandan is bulky and Kenya is lesser. So she manipulated that woman, and she was able to take care of our needs, our hotel room.
This woman, you didn't know this woman was taking care of your needs and everything?
We didn't know her.
So she just met her and manipulated her, and then she started paying your bills?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's this charm you're talking about that you also went for? I mean, how did it, I mean, it looks like what? Is it water? Is it something small? Just describe, how is it? I mean, it looks like what?
Yeah, you know, when you know where you demonic priests, satanic priests, and they are God priests. So when you go to a witch doctor, he just does, he satisfies your spiritual needs, just like a pastor or a man of God can. So when I went there, I went and I was so innocent. I just wanted prosperity. I just wanted blessing.
You told that witch doctor that you wanted prosperity?
I told her that I needed, yes, but I discovered that in that realm, there are principles.
What are the principles? Can you tell the viewers? What are the
Yeah,
principles?
the reason why you see many people do prostitution is, and the reason why you see many marriages are breaking is because just like the way the Bible says that God is looking, that we are a seed of God, Satan is looking for his own seed. And so you cannot, devil cannot have his own seed if people do not do sexual immorality. That is why you are seeing many men, they have fallen in that trap. Because the devil, when you are a man of God and you don't know how to keep yourself holy, that is the greatest principle that the devil uses, so that he can destroy the power and anointing.
What are the principles that you were given when you went to see that witch doctor? What are the rules that you are given that if you do this and this is what will happen to you? What are the rules?
Yeah, you know, it's about agreement.
What's
So
the
I
agreement?
was to carry an egg.
An egg?
Yes. And when I realized an egg, it represents fertilization and life.
Wow.
I discovered that even, and that is why, as I tell my story, that is why Daniel, he prayed and his prayers was hindered for 21 days. Because when you look at a female, there's a circle that she goes through so that she can come to a menstrual period. And I realized that the reason why the witch doctor, they ask for an egg is because they want to tamper with lives and destinies. So I was asked to go to take an egg and
Take to him?
to
her?
take to the witch doctor.
She was a male or a female?
She was a female. And you know, just like the way people go to churches looking and trying to wear anointings. In that world, it's permitted. You go to this one, you feel he's not powerful.
You go to another one?
You change, you go to
so
another one.
this lady is the one who took you to the witch doctor?
This lady, unfortunately, as we are talking about her, she died.
Oh.
And she never took me at all. She never allowed me to know her secrets. And
So how did you start going to the witch doctor? How?
I was introduced by another certain lady
Wow.
that I was just, you know, innocently sharing with her about my friend. And I would tell her the encounters, that where we are going, we are meeting these different men. A man was going to work, all of a sudden we connect, we get in contact. And he feels, you know, he just wants to be around us. And even a week, and you know, and I was like, many marriages got broken.
Because of you? And your friends?
Yeah, our friends in that field.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite unfortunate. You know, I'm just surprised, viewers, when she mentioned that when you go to a witch doctor, they'll always ask you for an egg, you know?
Yes, that
An
is the
egg
first
symbolizes, yeah, fertilization, you know?
And life.
That's why they keep on asking you, can you come along with an egg, you know?
Yes.
It's something that I've never known, but the witch doctor told you that?
Yes, the witch doctor asked me for an egg, but after I became born again, I did my research, and I realized that even when a chicken is want to release some chicks, it will lie on the eggs so that the chicks can come out. And so I realized that when you want to destroy a life, you begin
From the egg.
from the egg.
Okay. Now, this friend of yours, how many places did you go, you know, to... Okay, did you used to go to all these men that you used to see or maybe hang around with? You used to go to the pub and get them. Where else, again, would you get them? Along the road or something?
Anywhere there was a satanic power. I remember when I went to when I went secretly without telling her. I went and I was just crossing around a Basanda. I met with one Rwandese man that was loaded with dollars.
Wow.
And I was just crossing the
How
road.
did you know?
I,
It makes you, I mean, is there some force of attraction that
You
pulls
know-
you towards?
you know, many people, they don't know God. And so like attracts is kind. So it's like when many people, they have, you know, many people,
So,
they worship idol worship. They don't worship God.
So what happened with the Rwandese man?
Also, when I met the Rwandese man, he said that he had come for duty. I think he had come for some work. And he told me that he would want to be with me for a week, and he asked me whether it's going to be possible. So with my work, I knew I had gotten a client. Yeah, and it was just good time. I remember another incident. I went to another witch, and at that moment, I was now graduating from the level of egg to another level. You know, when an egg, you know, when a woman wants to conceive, he loses. The following month, you don't receive your menses, which is blood. So the devil has no blood, but he will always use something.
Like what?
Like chicken.
So from an egg you went to a chicken?
To a chicken, because now I was graduating. Just like the way a believer, when you're converted as a sinner, there's these convert classes that you go. Then you begin now to be introduced about Christ. Then you are told about Christ, and then you are told that the blood, that she shed his blood for you. So the devil has no blood, and you know that is an altar. So the next level, I was told to take a chicken. So I went with my chicken, and sometimes they normally want a black one that symbolizes darkness. So I was able to take blood, and when I went there, it was another good time, because when I came, I met a sheikh.
A sheikh?
A sheikh from Saudi Arabia, Riyadh.
Where, here in Nairobi?
Here in Nairobi. And when I met him, he, by then, you know, we were smart. But then there were no mobile phones. So I decided, you know, the devil has his own way to give you demonic wisdom. I said, because I didn't want him to trace me, I said I'm a businesswoman, because what we used to do, we had categories of this sex, they're called what? Prostitutes. And we had already, when we were going outside there, we didn't want people to discover us, so we were those working class.
Okay.
So you dress like you're going to office. You wear your suit, you carry your file, so that anybody comes to you and asks you, where do you work?
So reaching somewhere you change?
No, you don't change, because we want to attract those kinds. You know, there are those ones that they used to have to feel shame that they have been seen with a prostitute. So we were smart. So we decided our group will be wearing, like we will be those working class, and we would wear decently. We would wear suits, and then we were targeting those great of people. So
when you wear suits, like you're going to work, where do you go? I mean, do you go to stand somewhere, or you just go and sit somewhere?
No, we go to posh places like Serena Hotel. We go to Hilton. We go to Intercont. And those posh places, because we know that that's where we are going to hunt
big people.
To hunt towards our well. That is why I'm the founder of the Woman at the Well.
The Woman at the Well.
Yes.
Wow.
So we used to know the right wells where the men are going to come for us. You remember Jesus in the book of John 4, he said he came and sat there. So we used to go and sit there, so that whoever comes, we will be able to know this is a diplomat. This is a great man. And we knew our life, because at the end of the day, we had a goal that we didn't want to stick there. We wanted to prosper, and we wanted a good life.
Viewers, you just heard that Woman at the Well. She's the founder of Woman at the Well. You know, that means a lot. Stay tuned for part 2.